Yeah, so welcome to the viewers of Dataquest magazine. And this time we have with us a very special guest, a legend and a stalwart in the form of Dr. Sridhar Mitta. We have been associated with him for the past few decades. He has contributed to us, and he's a very well-known and a good friend of Dataquest. So welcome, Dr. Sridhar Mitta.
Thank you, Sunil, and it's nice to be back with DQ after a long time.
Yeah. So first of all, accept our heartiest congratulations on winning the DataQuest Lifetime Achievement Award 2024. It's a great honor. It's a great for us to be giving you this honor.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you. Thanks, Dataquest, for recognizing me.
Yeah. And actually, Dr. Mitta, I mean, especially to our audience, you need no introduction. And I would rather not give an introduction because we would like to hear it from your own words today. So we would like to, hear every facet of your life and career. So I think that will be better than an introduction. Our viewers will hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, so I'll just, maybe you can begin from, tell us about your early days of Indian IT and how you entered the industry. I believe you started your career in ECIL, and from there, how did you make a transition from government to private? If you can just take us back to those days.
Yeah, a little bit earlier than that. I come from a small town called Chittoor.
Right.
It's in Andhra Pradesh, bordering Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And I went to school. My family business was medical stores.
Yeah.
Middle class family. Education is important. Go to school, do well, other things. So my family members thought that I will become a doctor soon after I complete my graduation.
Right.
But my class teacher decided when I was in 9th standard that I should become an engineer because we had this bifurcation of students. So the class student said that I'm good in maths, so I should become an engineer. So we were very happy as young students, but without the knowledge of my parents or others. So when I passed, I had the only one option to become an engineer, not a doctor. So disappointment in the family, but I was happy that I should become an engineer. So during those period, I used to get a magazine called Electronic Age, published by RCA, Radio Corporation of America. At that time, electronics means electronic tubes. The RCA was the leader, global leader. And they used to publish this magazine, and my brother somehow subscribed to it, and I was reading that. What caught my attention was the tagline, which said, "Better things for better life through electronics." So it got etched in my mind. That means something good can be done using electronics. But I didn't know what is electronics. I didn't know what is. So that was my desire, you can see. So when I joined engineering college, it was a 5-year course. 2 years is common. And the third year we do selection of branches. So the college where I was studying, Venkateswara University, did not have electronics. So I was disappointed, but I didn't give it up. So I looked around and said, what are the options for me to do electronics? So there was an option for me to migrate to Andhra University, College of Engineering, Kakinada, where they offer electronics. And it's possible for 6 students to go from our college in Tirupati to Kakinada. I opted for that and I got selected. So I started learning electronics. The problem was the syllabus was all tube circuits or valves. By the time transistors have been invented and they are getting into the market. So we felt that we are not learning the right things. We requested our professor to teach us transistors during weekends. So, but by the time I graduated, I was very unhappy, saying that I'm not a good electronics engineer because I don't know transistors. So by that time, my brothers came and told me, you have wanted to have fun, you had fun, so come and join the family business. which was the norm during those days. So I told that, no, I want to become an electronics. So my brother asked me a question, how much money you are going to make when you retire? So I didn't know what to answer. So the person whom I knew at that time was making maximum salary was, my professor was getting $1,000. So I told him saying that I'll make 2,000 rupees a month when I retire. He said, you can make those 2,000 today. So we'll set up a separate business for you. You run it the way you want to do it. But I said no. So I went to IIT Kharagpur to do electronics, to learn more about transistors. I did that, but by that time ICs have come into picture, computers have come into picture. So still I felt that I'm not a good electronics. So I want to do a PhD. So during those days, computers meaning is only hardware. It was taught in electrical engineering departments in the US. Whereas software word was not there, but it was called programming, taught in mathematics department. So I applied and I got admission into University of Washington, which is a leader in computer hardware at that time. But I did not get a financial aid. So I thought that I will do a quick MS in one of the land grant colleges and then move to this college, and I got a permission to join 1 year late. So I selected Oklahoma State University and registered for a MS degree within 1 year by transferring some of the credits from IIT Kharagpur. So first semester I did very well, getting all A grades. And second semester I was expecting teaching externship, I did not get it. So I was talking to the professor who was teaching me control systems. Said, by any chance, do you have any assistantships? He said, yes, I'll be happy to give it to you, provided you do PhD here. I said, no, I want to do PhD in Washington University. And politely rejected. And then I went and talked to Professor Ramkumar, who was an Indian professor in OSU. He used to take interest in me. I went and told that I got this assistantship, which I rejected. So he told me, don't be stupid. Okay. See, what is important is not how to design computers, how to use computers. Okay. Secondly, you are getting a teaching assistantship. Thirdly, you have already established yourself here. So overall, you can do PhD very quickly. If you go to other university, you will lose minimum 1 to 2 years. So I took his advice and went back and talked to my professor and got back and got the assistantship and did my PhD in almost 3.5 years. So this is the second lesson I learned. What is important is playing computer or playing technology rather than developing technology. So I was very clear from the day I joined or I went to US, I want to come back. I thought it's a good place to read, to get education, to get experience. But I didn't want to make my career there. Okay. So I immediately came back to India. So I got a few offers. One of them is ECIL, Electronics Corporation of India Limited, Hyderabad. So part of Atomic Energy Commission, Atomic Energy Department. And their charter is to design, develop, and produce instruments and computers and other things which are required for atomic energy. So the first computer in India was developed by TIFR called TIFRAC, and then it was transferred to ECIL. It was called TDC-12, which is based on electronic tube circuits. So then ECIL went on to make third generation computers, which was ICs based. It was called 312. Okay, so I was working on those computers. But the interesting thing is, ECL itself was a startup company, started in 1971. Even though it was public sector, we had all the freedom to work, good environment, good equipment, good infrastructure, and other things. So it's no different from any of the startups we see today. I was given the responsibility of taking computers and doing real-time computer systems for defense and space applications. So that means we have a standard computer produced by ECIL. Then we have to understand the customer requirement, whether it is a satellite, whether it is a missile or something like that, and design the interface hardware, digital, analog, all those things, and then write software and give a total system and maintain it. So it was a total system integration job. So one of my customers was Department of Space. For during that period, Aryabhatta was launched, and my computer was used for tracking the satellite in Sriharikota. The other one was Space Application Center, where they were having a huge antenna which used to track satellites, and that satellite tracking computer and software was given by us. Then for Air Force, we designed automatic message switching system, replacing the manual or teleprinter-based communication systems for the entire Air Force. So it was a very, very interesting situation. We were not only learning, but we are also contributing to the projects of national importance. But at the same time, he was following up the development of microprocessors, starting with 2004 of Intel when I was in US. And then when I came to Hyderabad, somehow I used to get some information, because at the time there was no internet, there is no library, there is no magazines and all. It was very difficult to get information. So I kept kind of a track of these things. So ECL was very happy that they are making mini computers. But Intel introduced 8086 microprocessor, which has more power than our mini computer. So I gave a note to our department saying that we should make computers based on mini computers, microprocessors, mini computers. So they did not see the merit in that. They said, we are making mini computers, microprocessor toys. So I thought this time for me to leave. So when I was trying to change, my option was to go to Department of Space, because I never had any good opinion about the private sector, which was not there much. So I did get a job in Department of Space on the condition that I should join immediately. But I didn't want to do that one because my defense project was still 3-4 months away. I said I can't ditch the project customer people. I will come only once I complete and hand over, and then only I will come. So then I said no to Department of Space. During that period, Western India Vegetable Products was there. Ajit Premji returning from his Stanford University without completing his degree because his father passed away. Then he wanted to get into high-tech areas like electronics, computers, and other things. So he recruited Ashok Narasimhan from Telco, who was a financial controller there. He was a user of computers, IBM 1401 and other things. So he met him and said, why don't you join Wipro? He said, why should I join Wipro, such a small company? I am already a senior guy. He was from IIM Calcutta and then Tata Administrative Services. Yes. No, we want to get into new areas. Government is going to open up. So then Ashok asked Premji, saying that, will you start computers? So Premji, being smart, he thought that if you join, we will do it. So that's how Ashok Narasimhan joined. And then he started looking for a set of managers who can manage. And somehow they identified me, and we had a few interviews. And when the offer was made to me, That's the time when the company name also changed from Western India Vegetable Product to Wipro Products Limited. So I asked the job, what is my assignment? He said, R&D manager. So then I said, look, you are making a mistake. So I am not suitable because my PhD is in control systems. I didn't study computers. Second, I never did any R&D. I was only doing systems engineering. And what makes you think that I'll be a good candidate? He said, no, we've done our homework. You're the guy. Then I put three conditions. The condition one is he should be the CEO. Second is I should have the freedom to choose my team. Third is location should be either Hyderabad or south of Hyderabad. Because I didn't want to work in Bombay, Calcutta, Delhi and all this. They said they were not decided on locations. So we'll keep this in mind, and I agreed and I joined them. At that time, to get a license for a private sector, there is a lot of criteria. The first criteria is technology should have been developed in India through R&D. So Wipro gave a project to University of Science, Bangalore, to design the architecture of the proposed computer. Number two is we should use microprocessor-based mini computers, which anyway, that was my thesis also. Third one was you should locate in industrial backward area. And the government used to designate some 2-3 places and we have to select one of them. So there are 3 places located, suggested. One was Aurangabad. In fact, it's very close to Amalne where Wipro had its factory. Second was Patancheru in Hyderabad, outskirts of Hyderabad. Third one was Mysore. So we decided to choose Mysore as our production facility because it's already a developed town and a good place. Having decided on manufacturing in Mysore, we decided to set up R&D and marketing in Bangalore. So many people think that we came to Bangalore because of ISC, good weather, public sector and all those things. No, it is because of the government's this one and that. So we came to Bangalore. We didn't come to Bangalore. We came to Mysore and then came to Bangalore. So that was the thing. So we started Wipro. So I had 3 campus recruits from University of Science, IIT Madras. We selected about 5-6 people from ECL because that's the only source of talent and that's the only place I knew. So we started designing computers based on that. We had a lot of restrictions. So we can't import material, we can't import chips, we can't get PCBs made. There's no multi-layer PCB facility, all those things. So when people talk about constraints today, they don't know what constraints we had. Maybe 1,000 times, million times, whatever it is. So our first product was a very interesting product. So we want to use 8086 microprocessor as the CPU of the mini computer. Whereas in the US, personal computers are personal productivity tools for one user to do some functions. Whereas mini computer in India is like a IBM Series 1 or Data General or those kind of machines. Multi-user, multitasking, COBOL, MagTape, huge disk and all those things. So it was completely different architecture than that one. The advantage is we're following the open systems of using the kind of scenario, which means less cost, more options. But the disadvantage is we don't have software. Okay. But it's not a big problem because we didn't have any installed base of computers where we had to protect software. And even AT&T Unix was not there at that time. So the only operating system available was PC-DOS or MS-DOS from Microsoft. That is only for 8-bit. 16-bit version was not there. And then the digital research at CPM 80, and CPM 86 did not come yet. So we are looking for a source of an operating system, because designing hardware and software simultaneously is a disaster. So software fellow will say hardware is not working, hardware fellow will say software is not working. So it becomes normally a serial activity. On the other hand, if you can get a proven or reasonably proven operating system, hardware can be designed to work with that. Fortunate to locate a small company called Sentinel Computer Systems in Cincinnati, Ohio, which itself spun out of Cincinnati Electron. So they designed an operating system for 8086 processor, which has a lot of features. Has a database built in. It has multi-user, multi-terminal, and all those features. But they did not have any batch processing facilities, because in India, mostly it is batch and then online. Whereas in US, for the kind of computer they were designing, it is only online. So we licensed that operating system. It was difficult to convince them, saying that we'll protect your intellectual property. So they said, no, we don't know India. What will you do? You can copy it and all those things. I said, look back the credentials of company and its founders. And this is the only choice you have. You want India, we are the only best guys. So convince them. Then we went to Department of Electronics asking for a license to import operating system. So DOE said, no, why do you need a license? Nobody asked us before. Just copy it. Everybody was copying, so why are you coming here? So it was a good discussion to convince government, saying that doing in a software in a good way brings the industry, otherwise we'll get a bad name and the industry will not grow. So they did not find an option to allow software import, because the word software was not defined. So they gave us a license to import design and drawings, which was typically for manufacturing. We took that, paid that money to Sentinel, got the operating system. And the operating system was in 8-inch discs, some 100 of them. So when we got these discs through customs and declared, saying that this is operating system, this costs so much, and this is what it is. So the customs officer became nervous, saying that so much of money in this one, what is this? I never saw that. So I'm going to confiscate it. And I put it, now you have to come and go through courts and other things to get it, because I don't want to take any chances. So that was the status of government at the time. So anyway, so the vice president was coming from Sentinel. He bought another set of discs for us, so that we can at least start working, waiting for this thing. And we started Wipro in May, June 1980. 1980, correct. So 1981 February was the CSI annual event in New Delhi. See, that was the event in which new companies get announced, new products get announced, all those things, and we have the chance to go and say that we exist. But the problem is we didn't have the computer ready, and we didn't have the manufacturing ready. We started our factory in Mysore, all those things are ready. So we were hesitant. But at the same time, if you don't do it now, we will have to wait for another 1 year. So we took a chance to do it. And the government allowed us to import 2 machines as a prototype from Sentinel. So we took one of those machines and added a multi-terminal, these things, and demonstrated in Delhi. The computer was so good, so small, so reliable, kind of so many features. It blew everyone away. Okay. So the product became instant success. The Wipro name became well known at that time. So that was a good decision we had taken in education. So then there were several issues in terms of multi-layer PCB was coming only from Hegde and Gole. They got into lockout situation. Then we had to import multi-layer PCBs. So that was a problem. We had to go to government again and do that thing. The one good thing what happened was Wipro was able to convince the government what is to be done. And we are genuine people trying to do business in an ethical manner. So they used to consult us many times offline to what role should be there, what kind of situation was done. So Wipro, number one, got recognized as a technology-oriented company. And also the fact that we're an ethical practices company gave us a lot of kind of a good name. So then we moved from 86 computer to 286 computer. So the beauty of the architecture is a person who is having a 886 computer. During the weekend, we can remove the CPU board and put a new board, 286 CPU, and get twice the performance without changing anything else. Devices, peripherals, software, operating system, everything will work. Because 8086 to 286 are compatible, we design in such a way that the CPU alone can be changed. So that gave us further boost. The major thing came up when Intel introduced 32-bit 386. So IBM decided not to use that computer because it's too much of power for a personal computer. But Compaq decided, no, I won't wait. They announced the first 386 personal computer. But Wipro announced first 386 based mini computer in the world, based on Unix and the earlier operating system. Andy Grove wrote us a letter saying that congratulations for bringing out the world's first mini computer based on 386. So that was a very, very big hit. So meanwhile, R&D kept growing, doing all the things, kind of scenarios. So that was going on well. So during this process, we had a lot of interactions with Intel. Even though we are a small company, Intel used to treat us as a kind of with a lot of respect, because we are designing mini computers based on their computer. They are microprocessors, which very few people try to do it. And also the knowledge of the people, kind of questions we are asking, the feedback we are giving about our process and all those things. So then it occurred to us, we have a very good group of R&D talent in Wipro. In Wipro, what happened during that period, the best people from IITs or other institutions would typically go abroad. But when they don't go, either for the reason they don't want to go, or their parents did not allow, or they don't get visa, the next best thing is Wipro R&D. In IITs, we used to be the first preferred or a dream job. So we were able to collect a best set of people in engineering. So as a R&D manager, when I was traveling around and meeting people and all those things, I thought there's a good opportunity for us to provide services to this company, R&D services, not the typical body shopping type of services. The body shopping started when people from IIT, non-computer science department, people were taken, taught COBOL for 3 months and sent on B1 visa to take this one IBM software and convert into Modo software and other software. So this was the type of job they used to do. So it's software means export of people. The whole body shopping came from that. Whereas our idea was to do it from India for those companies. Okay? So we got a first this one from the Intel. So they were designing next generation computers. So they want to test the chip with software. So Intel being such a big company, they're extremely good in chip and hardware, but they have very few software people because no good software person will join Intel because it's not a main line of their business and they don't need continuous. So in that way, it worked out very well between Intel and Wipro. So then when I started looking at what are the prerequisites for us to become a export to R&D services, first one was the talent, ability to do hardware, software, combination of hardware, software, and all this we had. The second one was the protection of intellectual property. There was no legislation in India to protect intellectual property. So we went to Department of Electronics, told that we have to legislate, kind of scenario, convince them. Fortunately, at that time, they were getting a legislation for copyright of music and other things, video, movies. So they added another sentence again, software is also added in that. So that's how the first Copyright Act was passed in India. Third one was infrastructure. So we never used to telephones, all those problems were there. So fortunately, our DOI secretary, came up with a brilliant idea of decoupling communication from the communication department and set up STPI and trying to give the direct satellite connection to the computers, the computer companies. So then the issue of power. So we have to have a generator, we have to store diesel for 1 month, and other things. So all these are problems. So we understood this one. So we got all our people trained on intellectual property by Anand and Anand. So most often the breach happens not because of intention, because of lack of knowledge. So with these three things on, I went and talked to other companies, convinced them, saying that we will do work from India for you, not by sending people. So that's how the conversion of R&D, which was a cost center, became a profit center into global R&D. So that is the transition happened in 1990s kind of situation. So then we started doing not only the CPU, memory, controllers, operating system, compilers, these things, but also started working on the communication side. At the time, internet started taking off. So communication operating system, communication protocols, controllers, and all those things. So with the result that 7 of the top 8 global networking companies, communication companies, became our customers. So we were the first one to come up with the concept of India Development Center, where the center replicates the R&D center of a customer in US. Everything will be same. You will have a 4-digit telephone. If you dial here, somebody in Kippadina will take it. Okay. The processors are same. Okay. So all these things we were able to kind of situation. In addition to that, we also got into ISO 9000 for software first time, in CMM level 5 first time. These things made it. So it was a very good business. We are growing at 100% a year and making 30-40% gross margins. And customer was happy because he was getting 1/3 the cost. And employees were happy because they're working on the latest technology and getting experience. So it was a nice situation. So that was happening in Wipro. Then we were also developing a lot of intellectual property. But because we are doing work for hire, the ownership belongs to the company, which given contract to us. But the inventor name will be Wipro employees. So we decided, saying that we are doing so much of work, we should also do IPs, our product, as your question is. So to go to product, before we have to do IPs. But at the same time, we don't want to compete with our customers. So what we did was to develop IPs which our customers also require in India. So we started with that. But the sales and marketing of IPs cannot be done by sales and marketing of a service company. And it needs a lot more risk capital. It needs different set of people. So it was decided saying that we should set up a company in US to market IPs from Wipro. So Premji said, I don't understand this. If you are going, I will do it. Otherwise, I won't do it. So he was kind of forced to go and set up a company called Nthink. Okay. So this company Nthink came from enable thinking. So thinking is IP, enable IPs. So Wipro invested initial money. I went as a founder CEO and started building a team and other things in Santa Clara. If you remember, those 2 years are the years of internet boom and bust. So it was also the time when entrepreneurship was becoming mainline and Indians getting into the entrepreneurship through time. So it was a very, very interesting scenario in Silicon Valley during those 2 years. I was fortunate to be there. So first thing I realized is that intellectual property business model is not scalable. It can go to $20 million, $30 million. It cannot become a $1 billion company, with few exceptions. Okay? And there are reasons for that. The second thing is I needed more money second year. Okay. So Premji hesitated and saying, I won't give you so much, I'll give you more than this. I said, don't give that much money because it will become waste. So either give what I asked, otherwise zero is fine. So I'll fold back the company into Wipro. Because you don't want to take risk. Then we went and talked to venture capitalist. Yes, we like the business, but we don't want to invest in a company in Wipro. Let Wipro invest. If you come out, we will invest. Anyway, I didn't have that intention. Wipro didn't have that intention. So we folded back and think into Wipro. This one thing happened. Second thing was I became a charter member of TIE in the US. So rubbing shoulders with people like C.K. Prahalad, Kanwal Rekhi, Suhas Patil, all these people who were spearheading the entrepreneurship movement for the Indus area. That became them. The first chapter of TIE was in Silicon Valley, which I became a charter member. The second chapter came in 1999 in Boston. That chapter came in Bangalore in 1999, 2000. So the 10 people started it, including Ashok Sudha, B.V. Naidu, Kiran Majumdar Shah, all these people, Nandan Nilekani, all these charter members. Okay, so now the third thing happened was the Stanford University did a research project, 2-year research project, multidiscipline. Why did Silicon Valley become so famous or so successful? Second, can we create another Silicon Valley anywhere in the world? These are the 2 points. And they did the research and published the results, and I was able to attend the presentation. So what they told some is Silicon Valley is unique because it has created an ecosystem of so many things. And second, it cannot be replicated anywhere in the world, including United States. Okay. So what made me think was, in order to be successful, any entrepreneur from anywhere in the world, including India, has to go to Silicon Valley and succeed. So the KV Chandrasekhar, who used to work for me in Wipro, went there, started a company called, and it became a successful IPO. So KV Chandrasekhar became a poster boy for TIE, and TIE became a kind of institution for this company, KV Chandrasekhar. So after successful creation of this company and IPO, the board decided, saying that in order to grow, we needed a American CEO, but not an Indian CEO. So they let KV Chandrasekhar, okay, now you did it, you got your money, fine, and all those things. So he came to me and said, saying that, Dr. Mitta, why don't we start a company? I said, what company? Anything you see. I said, I have one idea. Because you were in Bangalore, you did not succeed. You became a global fellow. You came to Silicon Valley, you succeeded. And that's what Stanford is doing it. But look at Wipro R&D. So we are designing products for Silicon Valley companies from India. That means we understood the problem of distance, process, and all those things. Can you combine these two? In the sense that next KV Chandrasekhar from Bangalore should sit in Bangalore and get access to Silicon Valley's ecosystem. So that's why the word entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs came. He said, yes, you come on board. He said, I'll come on board, but I will not be in US, I'll go to India. And he stays in US. And then we got Son Das as the third founder. So we founded this company. We are a unique company at that time. We are doing so many things, but we don't fit into any of the standard bins. For example, we are investing money, but we are not a venture capitalist. We are providing incubation facilities. We are not an incubator. We are providing sales marketing effort in US, but we are not a marketing like that. So we are way ahead of time. Few things worked, few things didn't work. At the net, we invested in 6 companies. And eventually so that's the time I reached 60 years of age. My only daughter got married. And I said, I have to do something socially impactful. So I, along with Anand Talwai, who was my colleague all through Wipro E4, and S.R. Gopalan was also a colleague at Wipro. It was Wipro finance CEO. So we were debating what to do next, and whether it is education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's employment, whether it's green energy, agriculture, and all that. So finally, we zeroed in on providing employment. Because once you provide employment, people have money to buy education and healthcare. On the other hand, education and healthcare are state-controlled subjects. Lots of money is invested, lots of regulations. So that may not be a good thing for a small startup. So the company we started was called NextWealth. The reason for that is also interesting. C.K. Prahlad used to always preach, saying that people generally follow best practices. Best practice was yesterday's practice. It was best yesterday. That doesn't mean tomorrow it will be best. So you should not follow simply best practices of yesterday. You should invent the next practices. So that was his sermon. So I wanted to name the company as Next Practice. But the Registrar of Companies refused and then gave us the word NextWealth. So new way of creating wealth. So that's how it started. So then we debated and came with a very simple, clear-cut purpose statement. The purpose of NextWealth is to provide employment to graduates in small towns, focusing on women. So why employment, I told you, why graduates, is because they are the maximum number of people in India who are graduating without any job thing. And people have spent money in graduating, their parents have spent, government has spent, college has spent, and all those things. Then the third one is in small towns. Because in cities, at least we have multiple options. Small towns, we don't have options. And especially women who graduate, 50% of women graduate. And they don't get any job, they don't go to cities for jobs. So that's how the whole purpose was kind of designed and continue to drive us. To provide employment to graduates in small towns, focusing on women. So then how do we do it? So one, we need a lot of money to set up centers because we cannot have one or two centers, we have multiple centers. So we need a lot of money. So we didn't want to take money from VCs. Then the purpose gets diluted. The second thing is we don't understand the different localities and different states and different these things. We can't send managers from Bangalore to Chittoor or Vellore and all those things, expect them to work. So they want to come back to city. So the idea was to do a distributed delivery model where in each of small town, we identify an entrepreneur who is qualified, experienced, and who has emotional connect to that place, is willing to set up the center. So this entrepreneur and NextWealth together will set up a for-profit company whose responsibility is capital, recruitment, training, and delivery of the role of NextWealth. This is also a for-profit company, but with a social purpose, is to provide all customer-facing functions. Sales, marketing, finance, legal, all those things. So this is the model we came up with. We didn't know whether it will work. We didn't know whether such entrepreneurs exist, but we started it. But fortunately, we get the first entrepreneur, then second one, third one. Today we have 10 centers, 5,000 people are employed. Okay. The kind of services we give is also interesting. So typically what happens was the companies from cities will go to a small town and say, these are the kind of people I need. This is the qualification, this is the entrance test, this is the interview and all those things. And they find nobody meeting those requirements. So they are looking for people like what they have in cities. Whereas in NextWealth, we understood what the people in small town can do and get the work in alignment with the worker. So worker alignment was important thing. That was one of the secrets of our success. We were able to get work which can be done in small town by the people in small towns. So initially the work was more like a KPO type work. Then we moved to digital transformations. Then we moved to artificial intelligence, machine learning. Today, most of our work is generative AI-related work. Because one of the drawbacks of AI relates to, because AI's outputs are not deterministic, they are probabilistic. They are not repeatable, they are not explainable, it has bias, it causes hallucination. So all these things need a correction by having a human in the loop. So we provide human in the loop services to AI companies, whether they develop AI technologies, whether they deploy those technologies. So there's a unique positioning. We are one of the large HITL only companies in the world. And we are growing, we are profitable. We are not taking any money from any investor. We are not taking any loans. This is the current status.
Anyway, Dr. Mitta, thank you for, talking about your long, amazing and illustrious career and packing it in such a short time. And what I like is you have told so many events in your life that happened. You and your colleagues, actually, they impacted the IT industry. That proved to be an inflection point. I think you know that better than me. So right from your days of ECL to now, you're talking of a lot of inflection points. So
yeah, I was fortunate to be in the right place, right time. And again, just to complete TIE, when I came back to India, I became charter member of TIE here. And then Nandan Nilekani was the president. So he became CEO and told me to take over. So I took it. And I was there for 4 years. During my period, I got from 10 charter members, 100 members, associate members to 100 charter members and 800 associate members. So then I was elected to the board of trustees of TIE Global. I was there for 3 years. So long association with TIE. So NASCOM, I was in the regional council. And I work with at least 10 venture capitalists in different roles.
I mean, that was a great trip down memory lane. I think you have covered 50 plus years of the industry in this talk. So I think at this stage,
My career is also 50 years.
yeah, yeah, it's like half century, golden jubilee. That's true. I mean, that's like the history of IT. So I think at this point, I mean, since we have looked back, maybe we can look forward a bit. So, how do you view the current IT services industry? How long do you think we have to go before we become a product nation and strong on futuristic tech like quantum and Gen AI you mentioned? And we ask this question because the government has set up Mission 2047. By 1940, by 2147, we have to 2047 we have to be a tech and economic superpower. So, how do you view India's current and future path?
So, one thing I would like to say, we should also be cognizant of our limitations and our strengths.
Correct.
Okay. Look at the whole thing. OpenAI spent billions of dollars to come with ChatGPT, and some Chinese companies spent little and came.
Yeah.
So, initially you need lots of money.
Right.
And the infrastructure and the other things required.
Yeah.
Even today, even though government has done, I would say, commendable things in terms of defining, providing resources and all those things, they're not adequate.
Yeah.
Because the job is high.
Okay.
Secondly, we should not be too much hung up with this question, when do we become product nation? The same question I'm hearing for the last 50 years.
Sure.
See, there is no problem. What is important is not the product or service.
Okay.
Because products need services. Services have to be productized.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Today, if you take SAP, it's a product company or service company. They get more than 50% of revenue in services.
Yeah.
Okay. So, looking at AI in the future, it's anybody's guess. First, it's growing too fast.
Oh. Okay.
We don't know the implications.
Right.
There are good things about it, there are bad things about it. Okay. And it doesn't have any legislation to control. They don't have any guardrails. There are no exception of these things. So some of these things we are going to hear next week when there's a global AI summit in France. Mm-hmm. Okay. So AI is going to affect everyone, every job, every this thing. The implications are high, but we don't know exactly what they are. The biggest opportunity for IT industry is to take AI to the intended users.
Okay.
The users don't know how to use it, what to use it, and all those things. The AI company which can take. Yeah. But at the same time, they have to deal with the situation. Whatever work they have been doing before all these years will go away or will greatly reduced. So the current business reduces, the new opportunities come. Overall, it's a positive trend for a country like India.
Okay. So I think that's very positive, and that's the first time I've heard about product and services going together. So we shouldn't be hung up about one. So in that case, I think we have made a great progress in terms of services and apps and all. So I think we're optimistic about the future then, especially when it comes to India.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Dr. Mitta, it's been really great talking to you, looking back and looking forward, and it's been a pleasure. And once again, congrats on the honor. It's great for us to bestow it upon you.